How are we supposed to do this? Are we like, which way do you go?
Up and down, girl.
But I've seen people do it left to right.
That's not the right way.
Who said?
Jesus.
So that's basically the conversation we just had.
Oh my God.
And that clip is essentially our marriage in a nutshell.
Oh my God. You need to provide some context.
Yeah, there'll be a link in the show notes.
Monique Hart and Monet Exchange, two beautiful drag
painting
queens.
a room.
Painting a room.
Yes.
I am Monique Hart.
Uh-huh. And I am Monet Exchange.
Uh-huh. And we are...
Welcome to this special edition of the Esoteric Order of Role Players podcast.
Yeah. And again, my mic feels way closer than yours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I can't really hear you.
All right, how's that?
Oh my God,
Better?
way better.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Silky smooth tones. So, anyway, we are here. I guess we could call this another salon. We put out a salon last year.
Is it even a salon?
A salon to our Patreon backers.
When was that?
That was when we went through and talked about top 31 horror movies to watch during October.
Oh.
So, but an EOR salon is, excuse me, an EOR salon is basically just any kind of gab, right? So we're going to gab a little bit.
No, I don't think this counts as a salon.
All right, I will put it out there as a half salon.
It's not. So, to me, a salon would be like more than two people. This is just a conversation.
Sure.
That's how I view it.
EOR conversations.
It doesn't sound as cool, but...
No, it doesn't. So we'll call it a salon, and people can just pretend it is.
Pretend there's more people in the background.
Pretend there's more people, and they're all just being really quiet. So, anyways...
This sounds horrible so far.
We're off to a great start.
This is very shaky at best.
Anyway, we're recording this because we're not going to put out anything this weekend, and we didn't put anything out last weekend, although that was scheduled. This is more about what we've got coming up. So,
so that I don't view it as a salon. I view this as just like an upcoming...
But we're also going to answer some questions that people
coming
submitted.
Attractions.
Yes, it is coming attractions. We're also going to answer some questions that we've had.
It just depends on what those questions
from
are.
Folks.
There's probably not very many.
No, there's not.
Yeah,
So.
It's the weekend. It was very last minute.
Yeah, it was very last minute.
But of course, if you also have questions, I've already asked people to send questions. They don't. So what's the point?
Wow.
It's true.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess as long as we're here, we'll thank a new Patreon backer. Thank you to Rob Keys for...
Rob Keys.
Rob Keys.
Thank you.
Yes. And, had some issues with the Discord server.
Why?
If any new members are having trouble getting onto the Discord server, let me know.
That's
Anyways.
probably better for them, just so that they can...
Okay, you don't want to go there.
No.
You don't want to. Anyways.
I'm kidding. You can enjoy Discord all you want.
Yes. And the Mos Eisley Cantina that is our Discord
Yeah, pretty
server.
much. I'm just...
No droids allowed.
No, none. That's why I don't appear
Oh, I see.
anymore.
Yes. So, as hinted at there, our next thing is a new duet chronicle
What?
with Aaron Evans.
So
as
now we're
teased.
talking about coming attractions.
Yes.
Okay.
And what we're up to. I'm going to talk about what we're up to.
What we're up to? What does that mean?
Well, so one of the things you and I are going to be doing is doing another Aaron Evans chronicle.
Yes. So this is part of the nightlife. We finally decided on a name for our collection of vampire
And World of Darkness.
and World of Darkness
Yes.
stories. So it's nightlife.
Nightlife, yes.
And then, so we had nightlife.
Nightlife is kind of a double meaning because it's the name of a song by Mrs. Magician, who is kind of our unofficial mascot band for the Chronicles.
Our, what do they call it? The
House band.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. What?
Like, I was thinking like Gilmore Girls, like the town troubadour.
Oh, yes, they're the town troubadours of our World of Darkness world, and so they have a great song called Nightlife. And also, Nightlife, if my lore is correct, was the working title of Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh.
I think it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Or else there was another RPG where you played vampires that came out around the same time that was called Nightlife. It was one of those two things. Might have been both. Who knows?
Well, we're using Nightlife for...
We're using Nightlife, and so yeah, it's Nightlife : whatever. So Nightlife Neon Masquerade, Nightlife Demon's Mirror, Nightlife 13 Candles, Nightlife East of Eden, and now Nightlife Black and White.
So that's Aaron Evans' third chronicle.
Third chronicle, which
Set
will...
in the early 90s.
Early 90s by this point. It's the 90s.
Giovanni
and-
Chronicles does not count in Nightlife. No.
I mean, it's sort of canonical to the entire vampire...
But not our
Like-
vampire stuff. Like, it's just a kind of its own thing.
Oh,
And again, I know
you mean your
Yeah.
you running
Yeah,
Giovanni
me doing
Chronicles and how we're going to categorize the recordings.
Right.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows if that's even going to happen.
I
No,
mean-
I'm sorry. I talked about that for like a year and a half. I apologize. I don't even know if I'll be able
I
to.
know. I was re-listening to the last
That's
East of
so
Eden
sad.
episode from last year, like June of last year. Like, oh, I gotta start getting ready to run Giovanni Chronicles.
That's the thing that I've said constantly.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Some people can do it. I have zero patience.
It's
but-
of dubious utility, anyway.
People
I'd
seem
much
to
rather
like it.
you write your own stuff. People like it because you do a good job with it, and they want to run it themselves, so they want to listen to how somebody else does it. But I don't think, if you're not feeling it, I don't think you should feel like beholden to keep going with
No,
it.
but our group likes it.
Sure, but we would also like you to write your own stuff and throw that at us, as you proved with Monster Hearts.
No, you all did that. I didn't do any of it. I'm serious. You all, I did zero prep
Oh.
on that, y'all.
Oh, I'm no hero, she says.
No, I didn't. I did no
Well,
prep.
the point of the game is not to do any prep.
I know,
So
I know.
You did a great job.
I just sat there and was like, yeah, cool. Let's make it grosser.
Website, yeah.
Let's make it sexier. Let's make it funnier.
That's right. Well, you created an atmosphere in which we felt comfortable to
Oh.
do that. So
Okay. Well, anyway, who knows? So Aaron Evans, Black and White, coming soon.
coming soon.
To your ears.
Yes. So we thought we were going to start laying down some tracks right around this time,
Yeah.
and then we realized that actually Desiree has a hiking marathon.
It's an endurance
I guess,
event.
An endurance marathon.
No, an endurance event.
Yes, which is like a hiking.
It is a
It's a marathon length hike across rugged terrain.
rough terrain.
Yeah.
It's the Baton Memorial Death March
Right.
in White Sands Missile Range.
Which I really think they should have called the Baton Death March Memorial.
I know they didn't, but
But
don't.
it
Let's
makes
not.
it sound like the event itself is a death march.
I know they do. It's weird. It's weird.
So
Don't
weird.
ask about it. But anyway, look
Anyway.
it up if you're interested. Just look up Baton Memorial March.
Yeah, the Baton Death March is a big deal here in New Mexico because there were some New Mexico National
A
Guard
lot of them.
units involved in it. And so they do this annual thing. Desiree did it once in 2017.
I'm doing it again this
And you're
year.
going to do it again this year.
Yeah.
And you've been training for it through the winter.
Which is what keeps me
Through
healthy.
wind and snow and sleet and rain. And yeah, it's coming up in 2 weeks, so you're getting into your final kind of push to the finish. You got
Yeah.
to be focused.
Oh yeah, I'm
you
just
know.
visualizing,
And if we started the Chronicle right now, we'd have to break for that anyway.
and I'd have to reset
and
myself.
reset. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We're
we
gonna
just
start after
realized,
that.
like, oh, whoops.
So more than
Bad
likely,
timing.
we will be recording.
I hope by the end of the month we can start putting
Yeah.
stuff out. That's kind of why I said it's a weird time to start backing us on Patreon, because I think this month we'll be lucky to get
little
2
fallow.
episodes out.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing with the Sunday group is going to be offline. Yeah, Sunday group is going to be playtesting. Let's call it Project X.
Yeah.
Playtesting Project X for probably about 3 months.
Oh.
Yeah, because we take every fourth session off, and if we do,
Yeah.
9 sessions, that's 3 months.
Yeah. But
so
that seems pretty long.
well, it's a little mini campaign.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, okay. So Project X is taking place, but the duets will be taking place during that time too. So
Yes,
This will
exactly.
give you time to catch up with all of the nightlife recording. No, you can catch up with any of our back catalog because we have a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
We have Monster Hearts, which we just completed, and I'm going to do a series 2 of that. I'm being all British with the whole
Series
series
two,
thing
yes.
instead of season. But it'll be a season 2 of Monster Hearts, which the youth are still in high school.
Yes.
You're not graduated yet.
No.
They're... Well, there's music
Yeah.
to symbolize Monster Hearts.
Just bringing in some music, just some background stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen. I don't know when, but you can catch up with the original season 1 of Monster Hearts, which we did. We've done a couple of Bluebeard's Bride sessions,
Yep.
which have been really fun.
Yep.
We have Horror on the Orient Express. If you want to blaze through that, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
We also, that's pretty.
If you want to blaze that,
Who's blazing?
I don't know.
Who's blazing what now?
You put the campaign into smoking device of your choice, pipe, hookah, whatever.
Yeah, print it in a 3D
And-
printer, crumble it up, burn it, and then start vaping it.
Yeah.
Turn it into resin.
So when you know
and-
you've transcended is when
I
you're
have
when
no
you're
idea.
smoking
Transcended.
you're smoking conceptual ideas rather than material.
Yeah, you can vape.
objects.
You can vape Horror on the Orient Express.
That's
you
right.
can vape Monster Hearts. I want to see you try. How about that?
Let's see you try.
Okay, so
It's
anyway.
the EOR vape challenge. It'll be the next
Yeah, please.
memetic scandal
Oh, we
that everybody freaks out about.
we are not recommending vaping anymore.
I like how you're doing the cutting motion with your hand. Like, no, no.
No,
Nope.
no vaping, no vaping. Okay, so please don't. So then we have what else? We have so much. We have a whole Pendragon.
We have a Pendragon, a unit of
We have
Pendragon.
a whole Pendragon for you to listen to
I
and to
mean-
enjoy. We have a Paladin with mixed results, but it's Paladin.
That was a crazy campaign.
That was nuts. We have a lot of other variety of games, so just check them out if you want to listen to us. How we play our games, get inspired, but really catch up on Monster Hearts because it was a wild ride.
It was. It's good to have breathers like this because, as shocking as it is, not everybody listens to our stuff in the day it drops. I know some people do, but,
Yeah,
other
that's why it's like
people-
this is time for you to catch up.
That's right.
What else are you thinking of?
Okay, so
This is very loud.
that sounds fine in my mix.
I must be very sensitive to sound.
You are. Interesting. Anyways, so you all right?
You're blasting my ears.
Really?
Yeah, when you went, so.
Sow. Oh, sorry.
Jesus! We are very old.
Anyways,
Go
so that's what's going on with the Sunday group.
Well, not only that, Shimp has said he's going to run Werewolf. Just
Right.
like me running Giovanni, I have a feeling. I'm throwing the gauntlet down.
No, knowing him, he's probably got a wall full of Post-it
That's
notes
true, actually.
in his new house.
Yeah.
Looks like the guy from Seven, like
That's more like Charlie in the
Yeah.
back room with Pepe Sylvia.
Pepe
I
Sylvia,
hope that,
yeah.
I really hope that he's planning that because we want to play Werewolf. Our group wants to play Werewolf.
yeah, definitely,
So there's that piece.
yeah.
We
So
have Project X. Okay, so the main takeaways from this whole rambling thing is
Yeah.
check out our back catalog. We have
Yeah.
tons of fun stuff there.
yeah,
Aaron Evans will return in black and white. There will be probably maybe Werewolf coming down the pipe at some point.
probably this year. Hopefully this year.
And then I'll run season 2 of Monster Hearts if we can't think of anything else to do.
Yeah. Well, there's also Project Y, which I'll want to be playtesting, but that's a little ways down the road, so we'll see. But that would be another situation where we go offline for a while,
Okay.
and then hopefully we'll be doing like Duet Chronicles at the same time or something. I'd
Yeah,
like to
because-
try and keep some kind of regular release schedule going as much as possible.
We will. I mean, I don't see the duets going away anytime soon. Because we have the Aaron one coming up, which you've been formulating, and then we have one for Amy Patterson.
Yes.
So that's another one.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should say what it is. The title, working title.
Sure. Go for it.
The Demon's Blade,
That's right.
which will come up. But that's a little ways down.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. So
Yeah. So anyway, those are the plans. Now,
if you have questions, though, please let us know. 'Cause
Well, we
if this
actually
isn't
did-
clear, I just want to make sure that you guys understand what's going on here.
yeah.
But it's not like
guess
this
the
is
main,
like-
the main
oh, wow.
takeaway is like, there might be some gaps here and there.
I think we furnish plenty of content. We furnished plenty of content at this point. So if you want to listen to something, go nuts, man. Just check it out. We have tons of stuff to listen to.
All right, so that does segue us into one of our questions.
Oh, how many questions do we have?
2.
Oh, so maybe we could do some media recs or something to round this out.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, this is kind of a big question. I think this has a lot to talk about in it, a lot to unpack, as they like to say these days.
Okay. Now I'm nervous.
Well, it's from our good buddy Corporate Geomancy on Discord.
Nice.
And the question is the plan still to update the Duet Chronicle to the Vampire 5 system?
Oh, so yeah, what do you do when you're disappointed and confused, and then also yet still intrigued by some mechanical aspects of a game?
Yes, I'm
and
angry and terrified,
and yet don't care enough to maybe delve. I don't know. Yeah, we can talk a little bit about it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, so, I mean...
I don't know if everybody... I don't want to assume that everyone listening to this cares and or knows about.
And or knows.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, so basically...
But putting it briefly.
So, we were looking forward to 5th edition Vampire. We ran playtests.
Yeah.
Right.
I ran one. You ran one.
Yep.
And they were pretty fun. But,
they were good?
I wasn't sold on it. I didn't really feel like super ecstatic about
Well,
it.
sure. I mean, it was kind of with the understanding that they were
It's going to get
playtests.
better, right?
Right.
Yeah. It'll get better.
Now, I mean, honestly, on a mechanical level, I can't really say one way or the other because I haven't really taken a deep telling look at the material.
Oh.
You know.
So you can't really answer the question.
No, I can answer the question.
Oh.
It's fine.
Oh.
So, but you know, I mean, I haven't like cracked open the rule book, so to speak. You know, because you know we were kind of put off the whole thing because it was a huge PR mess last year, and I don't know. I mean, if you don't know about it,
Look it up.
look it up. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot.
Yeah, but briefly put, like there were massive missteps made with the way that the content, I think, was the examples used, or
Yes.
the content that was created to explore some of the darker themes in the world of darkness, and it was done in a way that was glib, insensitive, and thoughtless.
Yeah.
So. And certain people were held accountable, other people weren't.
Some heads did roll, some heads did not roll.
Yeah, which is... Anyway, so I just think it kind of left a bad taste.
Yes.
Even if we had only had a little whiff.
That's right. Yeah, it kind of sullied the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we were trying to give it like many benefits of the doubt. Mm-hmm. And we finally kind of hit a breaking point.
Yeah.
Where it just got to be so ridiculous.
Yeah, so we just agreed that we weren't going to use it.
It ultimately,
however,
between that and, you know, the difficulty of switching editions, you know, like, you know, cracking open the rule book and being like, okay, how does this work now? How are we going to adapt these characters?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we did that midstream with Amy, and that wasn't very fun.
But we still got through it.
We got through it, but it was
a great story.
We did. I'm just saying it was a lot of work
to
adapt it, and then ultimately we, you know, took a look at Chronicles of Darkness and then decided, okay, let's go back to 20th Anniversary Edition, right? So that's kind of what we're doing here. It's like there's too much baggage involved with this, so
we're not going to use it.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting, though, is at least from the play tests and other things that we did of 5th edition, I think it's kind of... The things that I was observing as we were playing it is that it was in line with how we were already playing.
Mm-hmm.
it just sort of validated, like, yeah, okay, I knew we were onto something with this type of a feel.
That's
or
true.
this type of a effect.
Right.
Like with the blood drinking and really kind of feeling the person, you know, like we just kind of, like, even though that is actually like a flaw, we were like, oh, why can't it just be like that all the time?
Right,
I think.
right.
So I'm anticipating, you know, as we go into black and white, that there's going to be a lot of kind of even more story game type things we're going to be, can't help but add to the narrative.
Sure, for sure.
In addition to the things that we were exposed to from the 5th edition playtest. So, yeah, but at this point I don't think we're interested in any way supporting it or being around it. And that will be fine with the edition that we have. Even if we're setting it in modern times, we'll still probably augment it slightly. I just think setting it in a different time... The music stopped? Okay.
Yeah.
Setting it at a different time, we can augment things with house rules, and we always do. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I hope to one day, with my copious spare time, sit down and, you know, kind of read through the 5th edition rulebook. Because I'm sure there's things we can or actually, just use the internet for what it's designed for, just stealing other people's, labor. So, you know, just wait for... I'm sure there's probably already stuff out there right now. So I'll make a mental note to Google for it. But, yeah, there's probably people who are pulling stuff out of 5th edition to put into their 20th anniversary games. You know, I'm curious about the Hunger Dice and how those could be integrated.
yeah, part of me liked it, part of me didn't.
Yeah.
It seemed kind of fussy.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't know how that ended up, though. I don't
Right,
know
but the
final
whole-
version.
The whole,
So-
I don't think it changed much. I don't know, maybe it did, but I don't know. I guess the more I play, I understand the accountability of dice and rolling and quantitative pieces, but at the same time, the hunger mechanic, yeah, I mean, it's always going to be tough, I think, in Vampire to really capture the challenges of having to constantly feed on blood.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, I mean, if you're open to looking at it, I guess I could probably contribute by looking at it and kind of reading and giving you my Cliff's Notes version, but you get different things out of it since you're so seasoned.
True.
And I'm
true.
kind of seasoned, but, you know,
Yeah.
your
but-
brain works differently than mine, thank God.
Very true. But yeah, no, I'll look online. I'll see what people are saying. There's got to be stuff out there at this point.
Yeah, but overall, we're not really interested in pursuing it.
Running an undiluted 5th edition Vampire,
No.
it's not happening.
And in terms of getting to, you know, when we get to Modern Knights, it could be a ways.
Yes. Well, I mean, at the rate we're going, you know,
Oh,
at the rate we're going, you know, we're averaging, 1.5 Chronicles a year or something
well,
like
not
that?
on purpose.
No, I know. I'm just saying at the rate we're going. Yeah, no, Modern Knights Chronicles way down the line. They'll be on 6th edition Vampire by then.
Ew.
Anyway, so yeah, I think that answers that question.
I hope so.
Yeah.
If you have any other questions, you can always ping us.
Yeah, but yeah, we're gonna stick
No.
with 20th anniversary.
Yeah, stick with 20th.
I have
with our house
I
rules.
have all the 20th anniversary versions on my shelf now.
Yeah.
So I still have this, you know, sort of pipe dream of running a Mage 20th thing at some point. I don't know.
You should. You should also turn the music down a little bit.
God. All right, so
You think you would want to take advantage of my sensitive ears, but instead you're spurning me and scoffing.
I have my reasons. So, yeah. Oh, well, also speaking of Vampire, want to get a new hashtag trending for those of you who watch The Good Place. Instead of saying, this is the bad place, this is the world of darkness.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
Hashtag, this is the world of darkness.
Yes.
Which we've been saying a lot lately. So,
Moving on to another question.
yes, okay. So this is kind of related then to what's going on with the Sunday group, I guess.
Oh?
Which is on Discord, Mika asks, I'd love to hear how me.
That's his name, Discord Mika.
Over on Discord, Mika asks.
He should have his handle as Discord Mika.
Discord Mika doesn't advertise. Anyway, he would love to hear how I am doing on the job front. How has it been digging into Greg's notes, etc.?
Oh, yeah.
So, again, for those listeners who don't know, I started working for Chaosium this year in January, and my official title is line editor for the King Arthur Pendragon RPG. I suppose technically I'm also in charge of Prince Valiant.
Yeah.
Although I don't think there's any plans to do anything with that, since it's a very self-contained game. Doesn't really need a lot. But part of my contract also involves me working on Call of Cthulhu and RuneQuest as well. In not advisory capacity, but as a contributor, I guess you could say. So that's what I'm doing, and so part of that new gig involved basically becoming the current curator of the Greg Stafford Pendragon archives. I have all of his papers relating to Pendragon, and I have all of his digital material as well that was on his hard drive. So I guess the answer to that question would be it's been really good. Chaosium is... I've had a working relationship with Chaosium for almost 4 years now. So, I kind of had a good idea of what kind of people they were, and I definitely wanted to work for them. So I was happy when that worked out. And it's been a nice little island of sanity, ironically enough. Especially things have been kind of crazy in the industry world the last few weeks. So it's been nice to be with the company that was fairly immune to all that. And I went through all of Greg's papers in December and into January and flexed my old librarian and archivist skills, and there's a lot of really cool stuff in there, which hopefully we'll be able to bring some of it out into the light, some unpublished adventures and just really neat sort of archival material that maybe we could share at some point.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And Greg left behind a lot of material for me to sort of organize and finish and keep the publications flowing. So that's about all I can say right now. But I will say that we have a prospectus, we have a plan that takes us at least through the next couple of years, and then other things beyond that will get more defined as we go along. And I guess the main thing is, like, I had a couple of projects I was already working on, so it's been a little hectic trying to get those done while also starting my new duties. But I just actually finished one of them yesterday, and hoping to finish the other one in the next couple weeks, so that'll be good. And I'm excited. It's cool. I get to talk about artists and other people to hire and throw money at to do amazing things, so that's pretty cool. And I guess that's about it. Yeah.
What did you like the most about working with Greg?
Well, Oprah. Greg was great because he was the kind of guy who would just, he was always just kind of like, well, what do you want to do?
Like open.
Yeah. Like, what do you want to do? Name what you want to do. Name your dream project, And then, you would say it. It's like, oh, well, I'd love to blah, whatever, And then and then he would just kind of file it away, and then 6 months later or a year later, he'd be like, hey, so that project you wanted to do, yeah, oh well, got an opening, you want to do it? Okay, yeah. So he was just very approachable, and he didn't have that kind of like creator's ego, Never heard him badmouth anybody, So it was just kind of like, well, they're doing their own thing or whatever, like that. I think that's like the most he would say. But he was definitely just about facilitating creativity and people following what they really wanted to do the most. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
What do you miss about not being able to talk to him anymore?
Well, the thing is that when we were first talking about me coming on board as line editor for Pendragon back when it was under Nocturnal Publishing, or Nocturnal Media, he said like that he wanted me for the job, and he said, he's just basically like, don't worry though, because I'll mentor you, and we'll just do a nice smooth transition. And the joke I've made is that it's like Luke Skywalker, showing up at Yoda's place, like, all right, I'm ready to learn how to be a Jedi Knight, and Yoda's like, oh, you know what? Actually, I got to peace out. So it's like, oh. So hopefully, I won't end up living on a rocky island drinking blue milk from strange alien cows.
Well, you do live in New Mexico, so.
So we're close.
We're very close.
It's close, apart from the ocean part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did just have some blue milk earlier today.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
Yeah, straight from the teat.
Wait, I didn't know that. I knew you drank the blue milk. I didn't know it was from the teat, though, directly. That's something that I don't know if I can abide by.
Anyway, yeah, so... But it was really great going through his archives, because they go all the way back to the first playtests at Chaosium, like in '82, which is crazy.
That's neat.
Yeah. The guy did not throw out anything.
So what about his legacy are you looking forward to carrying on?
Well, that's the thing, is that right now I'm definitely viewing myself as more of a custodian than a creator. Because, like I said, he left a lot of his own stuff behind, so I want to make sure I get that out there into the public. I view that as like kind of my version of continuing the mentorship, is working with his material, the best way I can. So, and then I'll be transitioning, I suppose, eventually into making my own stuff for the line, both as a writer and as a editor who's soliciting material and work, And I guess that was another thing about Greg that was really cool, is that he was a real networker, and so he would always gather people around him to kind of help, like bounce ideas off of, or consult, about things, this and that. And so a lot of those folks have actually come to me completely without any prompting on my part, and just been like, hey, I'm the guy who Greg would come to talk to about like medieval sword combat and jousting, because I do that in real life, or hey, I'm the guy who worked pretty closely with Greg on, a lot of those 5th edition supplements, and let's keep going, and so there's like this brain trust that he had that is still around. So, and I've made contact with a lot of them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Anyway. But yeah, that's about it. I'm happy. Things are good. I should be at Gen Con.
Oh.
With the Chaosium team. I'm going to be running a Pendragon session with their kind of like their VIP program. More details coming out about that soon. Probably in May. I don't know. Also, if anybody is going to be at New Mexicon.
New Mexicon? What dates?
What? Let me grab that really quick. but I will be attending, and I have submitted a request to
What?
run a game.
Which one?
Prince Valiant, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, since they're more of a story game kind of con.
Isn't that the beginning of April?
It is in April. I'm just trying to get the...
Which is actually a really nice time to come out to New
It
Mexico.
sure is. A beautiful time.
Uh-huh. The clouds are starting to be not frozen. The weather isn't like really super hot in Albuquerque.
Yes, and
It's
then there's
great.
always I think it's early or mid-April. Yeah, April 5th to 7th.
5th to 7th. Where
Which
is it located
Oh,
at?
it is at. Let me get that. But anyway, there's always this kind of like last snap at the end of April where the weather turns nasty again.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's not cool.
No.
But early April is actually pretty nice.
So New Mexicon is
It's going to be
April
at the Ramada Hotel Midtown
in Albuquerque.
in Albuquerque, April 5th to 7th.
Okay.
I checked them out a couple of years ago. Couldn't go last year due to a confluence of other things happening that weekend. But when I did go, it was good. It was at a different hotel. But my understanding is this hotel is actually even more deluxe.
Nice.
Yeah. And their claim to fame is that each game gets its own room. So you don't have to compete with other people shouting.
That's
and
beautiful.
talking
And we
and-
have the space
We do.
in some ways.
We have the wide open spaces.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, so come to New Mexico. Go to New Mexicon. Check it out.
Oops. Yeah.
You won't regret it. I'm just telling you right now.
Well, it is a con, just to be fair. It's a con focused on small press, tabletop
Yeah.
RPG gaming.
Yeah.
But it says open to all experience levels, interests, and abilities.
Exactly. Like, just
So-
come out and see what's up.
Yeah, but if you want to play some weird-ass story games...
Yeah. That's where
other
you played
indie
Velvet
RPGs,
Glove.
That is where I played Velvet Glove for the first time.
With the
Sarah
creator.
Richardson.
Yeah.
hmm Magpie Games is going to be there.
Well,
Third Eye Games is going
yeah.
to be there. Zia Pelta Games, who I do not know,
Hmm.
is going to be there. And also the Full Metal RPG podcast crew are going to be there.
Oh, wow, cool.
Looking forward to being
Oh, that'll
them.
be nice.
Yeah. Zia Pelta did Schemes of the Outark. Okay. So
So we have Gen Con in August.
Yep.
We have New
And then-
Mexicon in April.
you and I are talking about
Possibly going to Necronomicon.
Necronomicon.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're still thinking about it. It's not like Gen Con. You get a little bit of time to think about it because it doesn't sell out super fast.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. That's 2 weeks after Gen Con, so it
Yeah,
would be a
I
bit,
don't know.
It'd be a bit of a thing.
I may not have the leave to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Hmm.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it would be nice. I've been wanting to go for a while.
I mean, you should go this year.
I suppose, yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, so what else? Any other
speaking of
events?
Necronomicon, keep an eye out for Secrets of Berlin.
Oh, right.
I'm just getting into shameless self-promotion at this
No,
point.
that's why I don't want to go there. But Secrets of Berlin is coming out soon. I mean, that's kind of related
You
to
don't-
Mika's question. in
Wait, you
terms
don't
of-
want to go what?
I don't want to go into that, like just rambling about
Oh, yeah.
what have you. But I just
It
think
is related to Mika's question.
Yeah, so Secrets of Berlin is out soon.
Yeah, out very soon.
Very
Hopefully.
soon.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys! Seriously, you need to check out this book. It's amazing. I'm biased, but it is really truly amazing. I got a little glimpse
Yes.
at it, a glance and a glimpse, and
glance
it
and a
was
glimpse.
really amazing.
At a pre-pub version of the layout. Yes.
Beautiful.
Anyway, I think we've exhausted our talking points, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
any media recommendations?
Oh, I don't know. Go ahead.
I don't have any.
Why'd you bring it up?
Just in case you might have some.
Oh God. Check out. Well, you and I watched Young Guns 1 and 2 the other day.
We did. It was fun because it was New Mexico focused.
Yep.
Lou Diamond Phillips was stunning.
Yep.
He's always so handsome with his beautiful, magnificent hair cape.
His hair cape. It is kind of cape-like.
It
isn't
is.
Yeah.
Nicole Byer's
There
podcast,
you
Why
go.
Won't You Date Me?
That's your media
Amazing. Nicole Byer is hilarious.
recommendation.
You should check her out. Why Won't You Date Me? And then we have season 11 of Drag Race that just started.
Yeah. Just started.
What do you have? Russian Doll. We're kind of getting into that
We're just
on
checking. We're
Netflix.
sniffing around Russian Doll
It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
On Netflix.
on Netflix.
What else?
And I guess I'll just recommend Spirit of Eden by Talk Talk.
That's an album.
That's an album. Mark,
Yeah.
Mark Hollis just passed away, strangely enough.
That's weird.
excellent random discovery. Mm-hmm. If you're curious about post-rock,
Go for it.
go for it.
All right, I guess that's everything.
Yeah, I think so.
All right,
So,
that's fine.
mm-hmm.
Stay healthy. Stay happy. Do what you want to do. Do what you like.
Do what you like. Eat what you
Eat
like.
what you like.
Yeah.
Smell how you like.
Smell how you... No, go take a bath.
Go take it.
Yeah, and we'll be back with some hot vampire action. Oh, yeah.
So hot.
Probably about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
okay.
Bye-bye.
Till then. Bong.
Bong.
All right, so no sooner did we stopped recording than I got a tweet from
From
Craig,
who?
Craig Kellner.
Oh my God, Craig. CJ, as he likes to be called.
See, that's right. And so over on Twitter, he would like to know. He has a multi-part question.
I love multi-part questions. Let's
Clearly,
do
you've
it.
never been on a panel. Okay. Zing.
What are you zinging me for? Not being on a panel?
I'm zinging the universe. Thoughts on V5 as a system, lore independent from rules. Okay, we didn't really get into that. So
That's nice.
what's my good buddy Aaron getting up to?
Ooh, okay, we'll talk about that.
What are your thoughts on a storyteller's ability to change the rules to suit the theme of the chronicle? And thoughts on matching a chronicle to established canon?
Like one of ours, or just in general?
A chronicle.
A chronicle to match the lore.
Thoughts on matching a chronicle to established canon? Yes.
Canon.
So let's go back up to the top.
Okay.
So thoughts on V5 as a system? We kind of touched on that.
We did.
There's elements of it that we find interesting and that we might want to steal. However, lore independent from rules. That is something else. Yeah, I kind of didn't really mention that earlier. Like in terms of the lore that they developed for 5th edition.
Right.
That's something I'm going to have to actually think about as we move towards a Modern Knights context.
I could see us using some of it.
Yeah, my understanding is that the Mind's Eye Theater, which is the vampire LARP rules / organization, have their own lore that they developed.
Yeah, I'd imagine
that
so.
were more sort of like organic outgrowth from the 90s and 2000s stuff.
What do you mean?
Well, like so White Wolf had its own meta plot for World of Darkness, like, you know, all the way up until the 2004 reboot, you know.
Oh.
So, you know, what with the Final Nights and Gehenna and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess my understanding, I could be wrong on this, but my understanding is that the Mind's Eye Theater kind of took that and just kept developing it beyond that point. And, you know, like if you check out the latest version of their rule book, you know, it's you can see like a timeline where they talk about it, you know. So so that would be one way to do it. But 5th edition, you know, kind of went its own way. But also,
It's a pretty... okay.
well, it also just integrated. It did integrate old lore in its own way.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to compare and contrast.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I think it depends on where those two places took the timeline. Because my understanding is that with 5th edition that it's way more like conservative bent. Where things got more conservative with the mortals kind of being like, you know what, fuck this shit.
Yeah,
Get rid of them, like extermination kind of thing.
I wouldn't even say conservative. I'd say reactionary. You know, it's like mirroring, you know, the rising tide of reactionary politics.
Yeah.
In our own world.
But wouldn't you say that would be more on the, not a progressive stance, but a conservative stance?
Well, yeah, sure. Reactionary is the far extreme of conservative
Right.
politics, just like progressivism is the far extreme of liberal politics.
It just depends on where we want to take it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like the idea of things being easy for Aaron, but I have to say that it almost seems too hard and restrictive to make it like so, like if the reactionary timeline, like that's too restrictive. That's
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. It's like, and I'm going to sit in my basement and be a vampire. Like, it doesn't seem fun. So,
Right.
and I know they have powers, blah, 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 whatever, but like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I could see us using some pieces of it.
Sure. So that actually gets into,
Because we've talked actually about, now I'm thinking, we've talked a little bit about some of the characters, having roles in the larger reactionary system.
Yes, we have.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Amy possibly participating on some level.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely gonna follow the general arc with the final nights and all that kind of stuff. But we'll get into that with parts 3 and 4.
Okay.
But part 2 is what is my buddy Aaron up to?
Okay, well, first of all, again, CJ seems insistent on referring to Aaron as his buddy. I'm glad you feel Aaron is a likable character. That's good. However, he's a vampire. You got to remember that. So he's a dangerous thing, and he's gotten even more dangerous with his the developments of East of Eden. Gotten even more dangerous. So at this point, which you'll hear all about this soon, but Black and White, I mean, he's living his life, in Santa Monica, with his band, playing small gigs, traveling around, recording a couple demos, and seeing if he can get a contract.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think he's constantly at war with himself. He feels guilty. At the same time, he feels justified. So, I don't know if he misses Karen. I don't think so. So, you're just doing his thing.
Yeah, I imagine we'll be addressing a lot of this in the first session, but have you given some thought to, because I think somebody asked a question somewhere on one of our mini portals, after our final chapter last time, where I jumped the time ahead a year. Mm-hmm. And somebody said, well, how's Aaron been dealing with having this possessing entity inside of him?
Yeah.
For a year.
Yeah.
So have you given some thought to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's well, there's the possessing entity, and then there's his demeanor change or nature change. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he's he's created like a major separation between himself and his former life. Even his former vampire life. Whereas before he was like a kind of like a kept man. So now he's kind of like really like a lone coyote, just kind of on the periphery. And I think he has less compunction taking what he wants. At the same time, within reason. And I think he's trying to use his powers just to get rid of Dawn. I don't know if the enormity of that, I think there's some things that have to happen to really show how awful he's becoming. I don't think it's clear to him yet. I think there have to be some things made manifest for him to realize the monster that he's become. So I have a feeling that he's just becoming kind of more, again, taking what he wants, doing what he wants, and there's no accountability. But I think that's going to come back to bite him in the butt sooner than later.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So, thoughts on a storyteller's ability to change the rules to suit the theme of a chronicle?
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, Change the rules.
Yeah.
Like, what? I mean, like, I don't want you to have to show your hand. Like, I can leave the room. Well, then I don't have to listen to this part. But, I mean, in terms of changing the rules, like, I feel like... I don't know if I changed the rules for 13 Candles, but I definitely bent them and molded them to kind of give me some results that I wanted. However,
true.
not when it came to, like, combat or anything like
No,
that. Like,
no.
I don't think that should... I don't think folks should do that.
No, I think when you're at the table, you need to play the rules as written.
Yes.
However, I think what Craig might be referring to is like modifying disciplines, or modifying the way some things work mechanically in terms of frenzy, or
Well, if you
things
have
like
a
that.
single player too,
Sure.
things are changed a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Well, yeah, you're right. Like, for instance, we've sort of... we haven't worried too much about, like, things like wound penalty dice, or wound penalties to dice pools.
We do it occasionally.
Do it occasionally, but, why make it harder? when
Yeah,
you
it's
just have
already
one
hard.
player,
Yeah.
It's not fun.
No.
So I guess that's I guess my short answer is I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I
You
think
know.
it's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
because if it's, but however, you have to figure out ways of being creative. So you need to be just as creative with your solution or augmentation to that rule. Then the rules are already giving you like some creative like direction. But if you're like, I can change this some, like it has to be just as creative.
Yeah, it has to serve a
And
purpose.
that's hard to do on the spot unless you've really thought about it.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think it should be done on the spot.
No.
As much as possible, but in terms of like thinking about things in between sessions.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things actually about Vampire, specifically, and perhaps World of Darkness stuff in general, is that it's always presented with this, sort of like semi-authoritative voice.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it is written in character.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
Is this
really...
Is this the truth?
It creates an atmosphere of malleable reality.
Yeah.
So, to me, I just see the mechanics as being an extension of that.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like, well, sure, the book might have these rules for this specific application of blood magic, let's just say. But I like the idea of instead, maybe it works a different way. Or maybe there's just a different variation of this blood
Right.
magic path
Yeah.
that, isn't in the rule books, but it
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah, I'd say that with Vampire at least things have been made highly subjective
Yeah, yes.
because
Highly
every
subjective.
single person is different.
Yeah.
And so every blood thing, everyone's blood is unique. It has different things in it. So that lends it to a very, every story is unique, every narrative is unique. So there's going to be things that don't quite fit. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Craig brought the questions, man.
Did.
I like it.
And then
I mean,
thoughts...
CJ, sorry. CJ brought the
God,
questions.
stop. Thoughts on matching a chronicle to established canon. So that's sort of the other side of the coin.
Repeat.
Thoughts on matching a chronicle to established canon. So
Matching.
yes,
Matching.
so I mean, I think we've talked about this before off mic, maybe even on mic. But, White Wolf in the 90s, a lot of companies were doing the meta plot thing. TSR was doing it with Forgotten Realms with their novels, where like the novel would come out and something would happen in the novel, and then like the next supplement that would come out, it's like, oh well, this has changed everything in the game world. Go read the novel if you want more information.
No.
So it was a thing that was going on. Rifts did it. A lot of companies were doing it in the 90s. Like, it was a sales tactic, to
Right.
get people to keep buying books.
Right.
But White Wolf, I think, was probably the standard bearer of that, just because they churned out so much material.
Right.
And it was this understanding that, like, potentially anything that came out could introduce some kind of, like, change in the lore, in the canon. Oh, this famous vampire or that famous vampire, died or whatever got diablerized, or, you know, things like that. And of course, it really came to a head with the whole Final Nights thing and everything, you know. So, you know, there were people, I think, who felt obligated to go along with that and to really immerse themselves in the lore. You know, it sort of tapped into that geek compulsion, you know, like with Star Trek or Star Wars, or, you know, it's like, I must know everything about the lore, you know. And that if you weren't going along with that, you weren't doing it right.
Well, it has
you
to do with
know.
authenticity.
Authenticity, yeah, absolutely.
But I think
So-
matching. So he's talking about matching a chronicle to
canon.
to
So,
canon.
so in other words,
Well-
like how beholden do you feel to established characters or to canonical events?
So I'm going to say, if it's compelling and interesting,
yeah,
use it.
Yeah.
If you don't like it,
Yeah.
don't use it.
Yeah.
Create something better. Create something different.
Right.
Like, that's one thing, and I've mentioned this before in terms of listening to the Good Place podcast and just watching the Good Place. Like, it's like, go with the standard thing and then turn it on its head, or like cut, like finalize something that could have been drawn out for months, you know, finish it in 5 minutes and move on to something else. Like, creativity is always going to give you something new, something different. Your brain needs to be free to explore and like try new things. So do something different. If I mean, I think the reason we're sticking with some of the canon characters because we really like them and we like how they've shown up in our stories. I'm sure you have other characters who have shown up and gotten their ass kicked and handed to them, and you're like, okay, never mind. Like, and I think there's other storylines and stuff that we were kind of like, yeah, what would that be like to explore and see what my character can do in that? If it gets resolved in like 2 episodes, oh well, guess what? That means we get to think of something else.
yeah.
So
Well, a good example would be Petrodon's death, where canonically he dies in the 90s anyway. But it was like 97, I think, or something like that.
Right.
So you just killed him a few years early.
there's
you know.
that, or just like, again, like, just use it's there for it's there for you to use
Yeah.
and to have fun with.
Yeah.
It's supposed to inspire you, I think, and give you ideas. There's some things that are
Yeah.
like you should really adhere to, of
Yeah.
course, but for the most part, unless it really throws off the timeline or something weird, then use it, make it your own.
As you're talking, it's just reminding me of how we approach playing Pendragon.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's this overarching narrative that is going on, but we're going to kind of do our own thing.
We're living our little lives.
We're going to find out where it intersects. We're going to spotlight the characters, the canon characters that are interesting to us. The ones that don't interest us, we're not going to bother with. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like you say, it can be dispensed with in just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's really that important to even
Right.
talk about. Yeah, no, I my intention is to sort of loosely follow the meta plot, like I talked before.
Yeah.
But there are things like, for example, initially I wasn't even sure if I even wanted to bring in the whole Kindred of the East thing. If I want to just stick with like the kind of the small hints from first edition Vampire about what like vampires in Asia were like. But then I was thinking about it, and particularly because of Amy's stuff, I was like, well, maybe we should bring in some of that material. But I have no intention to like do the whole meta plot with this like invasion by the Celestials of California, like coming in and invading California, because that's like really problematic for one thing,
Yeah.
and it's just also just not interesting to me,
No.
so like I'm gonna ignore that part, but and just kind of develop my own thing in terms of, because honestly, this chronicle we're going into, I am completely open to it turning out any which way, which could include major geopolitical changes in the vampire world.
Yeah.
If Aaron throws a big enough monkey wrench into the works,
Yeah.
it could really change stuff. This is the third chronicle in a trilogy of chronicles.
Yeah.
We've got to, it's like it's all on the table right now. And if things change, things change.
So I think it's up to me. It's up to the storyteller, like,
Yeah.
and your players, like,
Yeah.
how creative do you want to be?
Yeah.
What kind of space do you want to create for your players so that they can feel free at the same time within reason? You like, again, I mean, gotta go back to, like what honesty demands and like what the game, is it truthful? Like, is it true? There are things that it's like, well, that doesn't feel true. You'll know in your gut or your heart or your brain, like mostly gut and heart will tell you like that feels true. That feels real. As opposed to something where you're like, you're just trying to force your ego into this creative process. You're just trying to force something you want to see. It's like forcing your dolls to kiss, it's like no one wants to see that. like make it weird, make it strange, make it feral and like make it into something that, and I think that those rules can apply to every game that you play.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's like what the game, what are those three things I should know? But what the story, what the story demands. What does the story demand?
Yeah.
Does the story demand that Aaron, I think that's when we came to a crossroads in East of Eden where I was like, I liked Aaron being kind of cuddly, but that's not what the story demands. The story demands that he turns into fucking disgusting. And I get to explore that. So it's like, okay, let me mourn the loss of this cuddly version and let me embrace this disgusting version of him and see where it goes, because that's what honesty demands, what the game demands. So I think if you kind of hold yourself to those tenets, you'll have fun. And ultimately, are you having fun? Are you having a fun time? No? Then change it. Make something different. Yeah. But if you're having a great time, then what's the harm?
Yeah, and ultimately everything is there for you to use what you want.
Yeah, play with it.
Yeah, play with it. Exactly.
It's playing.
I think it's easier now because, to give some credit to the folks back in the day who did get obsessed with the meta plot, part of what caused anxiety, I think, is that, like, let's say we were playing this Chronicle 25 years ago, and let's say that the Anarch states, fall to the Camarilla or something, and California becomes a Camarilla state. Well, what if the next supplement down the line has something about the Anarch states in it? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, now I've just invalidated this whole line of development. So it was a little tougher when things were still coming out,
I think
that
it
were
was
fresh
for
and new.
people. Yeah, that's
and
tough.
because we're playing in an established sandbox, much like with Pendragon, nothing's going to change. Like, there aren't going to be any here's the hot insider tip for all you listeners. I'm not going to change anything with with the Pendragon timeline,
Right.
beyond what's been established in terms of Greg's scholarship and existing Arthurian.
No.
Certainly, if somebody discovered a lost
What if there was one?
manuscript, but then hey, everyone would be in the same boat, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And so it's more about what do you say? Rolling with the punches. Like, again, a Pendragon example would be if a major figure like Mordred was killed,
Or Gawain.
for example.
Womp.
What do you do with that?
What do you do?
How do you roll with that? But it's kind of like, it's not like there's going to be a supplement coming out that's like the death of Mordred, or whatever, right? And then it's like, well, Mordred's like a major part of my campaign,
Right.
So I get that, but it's a luxury we get to indulge in,
Definitely.
as we build our own thing. So if anything, I just say that's all the more reason to mess around with it, because the stuff's already been laid down.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing like a 20th anniversary thing set in the modern day, they're not going to put anything out there that's going to radically shift or alter anything. They've pretty much set the meta plot aside.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, well, this is how it is now, and but they're not going to throw any major changes your way. So,
But again, have fun with it. It's happening in your imagination. So it's like, if Gehenna comes and goes and nothing really happened, that's what happened. People talked about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I would say vampires get so goddamn bored being around all the time that they just make up shit constantly to entertain themselves, and rumors. They love gossip. So it's like, it's really, is it a myth? Is it real? You don't know. So it can be both. It can be none of it. So just do what's fun. That's the main thing. Have fun.
Yep.
Have a good time all the time.
All the time.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully that answers Craig's question, or
I think
CJ's
so.
question.
Oh my god. All right, so
Only because he mentioned that.
I know. All right,
I think that was all of our things, but I think one thing I wanted to kind of address, because Barbarian Rainey brought this up with interweaving our plots, like with Amy Patterson's stories and Aaron Evans' stories. They will be interwoven, like for sure. All the stuff that Aaron's going through for Black and White.
Yeah.
You know, Amy may make an appearance. I don't know what you have in mind, but in terms of like, we're kind of picturing these, at least Amy's second story and Aaron's third one, they're kind of diverged a little bit, but they're going to intersect again in some ways. So we'll see. But I'm not telling the story. I'm just in it.
That's right. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I'm still thinking about, we were just talking about this the other day, I'm still thinking about, like, as I take the helm again, like, so what exactly did happen with Charlotte? And what exactly did happen with Consuelo? Because
13 Candles.
It was a very kind of like, talk about subjective, it was a very kind of like, oh, I don't know, that's a weird sort of ending, you know. It's like,
I made it that way for a reason.
Yeah, it was like a you know, new French cinema kind of ending, appropriate for the time period.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, just kind of like, oh.
Huh.
Just walk out of the theater going,
Oh my god. Thanks.
No, as you think about it, you're like, what did that mean, though? Exactly.
Right.
Anyway.
Listen to 13 Candles. You'll enjoy it.
Alrighty. Well,
that's
I think
it.
that was it.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
All right, we're back again.
I think there should be like a needle scratch as we're going.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait. Everyone's on different time zones.
Yeah. So we got a couple sets of late questions from.
Well, they're not late questions, just more
Late
questions.
for us.
I don't think so.
Oh my god. All right. We got a couple of questions that came in later after we recorded
Finished
our
recording. That's
recording.
more accurate.
From the llama.
The llama face.
Oh my god. Who says, I love your Vampire the Masquerade games. Thank you. It would improve my life, not a little, if you chose to do more games.
Oh.
One-on-one or classic multiplayer notwithstanding. I was going to mention in our previous recording that in addition to our various duet plans, we have talked about doing a group Hunters Hunted game.
Yes.
Are we going to be seeing any more Dark Ages games? I love when your games are more freeform and not focusing on major meta plots. Heart emoji.
Freeform. What is that?
Well, it gets back to what we were talking about.
Like 13 Candles?
In part 2. No, what we were talking about in part 2 of this discussion, which was how tied into canon are we?
Yeah.
And freeform, I think, just meaning like we're just like what we were saying. We're just letting the narrative take us where it goes.
All of our games are like that.
Yeah, I think that was just an observation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if other groups like focus on these meta plots like a lot.
Some do, some don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's highly subjective, as we
Yeah.
said before.
Yeah. Okay, so the question there, though, is more Dark Ages. More, for those of you listening who don't know, we were releasing some patron-only Dark Ages vampire games.
Yeah. Well,
I think I managed to put out 2.
Maybe.
And then we had a lot of technical issues with our recordings.
Yeah.
We ended up playing 5
4 or 5.
sessions, I think.
Was it 5?
I think it was 5 by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it ended satisfactorily.
It did. It was just a little mini chronicle for sure. The
Like
funny thing,
Giovanni.
yeah. Well, it's always about the Giovanni with you, isn't it?
People love it. Well, that's Dark Ages kind of, right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, when it starts, kind of. But no, the thing with Dark Ages for me is that was actually the first actual White Wolf World of Darkness product that I purchased. Yeah, and so that was kind of my introduction to a lot of stuff.
So you have kind of a soft spot for it?
I do have a soft spot for it, but I sort of thought that I would enjoy running it more than I did. I realized that the modern aspect of vampire is actually a lot of fun, with vampires interacting with technology.
Yeah.
Dark Ages game is just classic vampire.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like you're a vampire and there's peasants who are afraid of you.
Like, oh.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know. There'd have to be something to make it interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe, I don't
I-
know, making like a whole like coterie part of some nunnery or some
Yeah,
crazy,
it would
like,
have to be way
vampire
more.
nuns.
Yeah, the way I did it was definitely much more just like, hey, play what you want, and we'll figure it out how you guys know each other. I think I'd want to like make it more heavily themed, like you said,
Yeah.
or also maybe try a different area. I ran this one with Iberia by night, which was okay.
That was alright.
Yeah, but there's also Transylvania by night,
Oh.
which is interesting. Constantinople by night, which has a reputation as like maybe the second best city book for anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that might be intriguing.
Yeah. So I wouldn't rule it out.
Okay.
And I wouldn't rule it out as a group game either.
No, I think our group would like to play
Yeah.
vampire. I think
Dark Ages.
Dark Ages. I
Yeah.
think they'd be down for whatever.
Well, sure. Okay. And then the llama continues.
Llama.
Do you think Vampire the Masquerade is better when played as a neonate figuring out the world of darkness and its politics, or is the game just as good at other less classic campaigns?
Well, I don't have a lot of experience playing the game. I mean, I kind of do, but only as like a neonate vampire. I think both can be good. It depends on the storyteller and how adventurous the players want to be.
Let me ask you a question.
Go.
You were prepping part 2 of the Giovanni Chronicles, which features our vampires as 200-year-old
Yeah.
vampires. How was that feeling to you versus a neonate type chronicle?
I think the challenge is, that's a good question. I think the challenge is with having a story where it's already set as like an established vampire.
Mm-hmm.
I think what makes it harder is kind of getting everybody up to speed
Mm-hmm.
with like where they're at.
What have you been doing the last 200 years?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think like the lore, the what's in place, the pieces in place. If you can summarize things,
That was a rogue mop, by the way.
a rogue mop just moved. It was very strange. If you are able to briefly summarize the history of your character,
Yeah.
and then like the setting, the history of the setting, boom, boom, then let's get into it.
Yeah.
Then like let's do it. So it really depends on the storyteller.
I'm kind of like you. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of experience outside of what we've actually recorded and released. I mean, that constitutes about 95% of my experience playing vampire.
Right.
So, and most of that's been neonate focused stuff. But just anecdotally, I think a lot of people get around that in terms of playing older vampires by just inserting long periods of torpor into their backstories. And then I slept for 100 years,
I think that's lazy.
Yeah. It's like, you just wanted an excuse to play some guy from the 18th century.
Yeah. That's fine. Like, I don't think there's a problem with that at all.
Yeah.
But like, come up with a substantial history for your.
Yeah, but then you end up writing the Vampire Chronicles, you know what I mean? It's like,
do a bullet list.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that difficult.
boo fucking who.
Yeah, just do a bullet list and go from there.
That is
It's not
one
any
thing I
harder.
liked about 5th edition, is that you could take dots in certain history things. Remember that? And we talked about it a little bit off mic,
I don't
off mic
remember.
land. It's like there's certain like milestone events in vampire history, and you can take a dot or more in that event that represents your involvement with that event.
Kind of like RuneQuest.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Because I would say maybe if you applied a RuneQuest like,
Created a timeline.
created a timeline RuneQuest like for your vampire. If you're playing a vampire that's over 100 years old, or over 50 years old, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe create a timeline like that.
Yeah.
And like in terms of your history of the setting, of the group that you're wanting to interact with, without giving too much away.
Yeah.
And have the players kind of go through like where were they during those critical times.
Right.
I don't know, that might be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think the thing is with playing vampires is that I don't think you can avoid really talking at length the history of your character
No.
if they're an old vampire.
Sure. Now, how about play experience? Like, for instance, when you ran Rusted Veins, those are all established vampires
They
who've
are.
been around for a while. How did you think that felt?
I feel like I wish that I'd had more story gaming experience, like running Monster Hearts, for example. That I would have had good questions to ask the players about their characters in terms of what they were doing. I kind of asked them the basic stuff from like 20th anniversary edition, like what are you doing? What's your daily feeding like? What do you I feel like I could have probed a little more. Now if I went back, I would ask different questions. So you really have to be sure to like ask some interesting questions of your players, so they can really think about where they've been.
Yeah. Did you find the play experience to be different with more experienced vampires?
It was more fun in the sense that I felt like they could hold their own.
Sure.
Against some tough.
Cabrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and also I think there's less like kind of dithering around in terms of humanity and trying to if you do a neonate game, you're focusing on that theme a lot.
Yeah, but if you are playing an established thing at the same time, I think with playing a vampire, playing the game, you have to understand that humanity, no matter how jaded or bitter or removed this character feels from their humanity, they still have a relationship with it. So you're going to have to push things to get them to be like, am I getting more into a monster, or am I like holding them accountable to because they were humans once.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So really it was a question about what is better. Neonate versus established.
I don't think it's a matter of better.
Yeah.
I think which one we like best, I don't know, because I haven't played it in one that I had an established vampire. Except Dark Ages, I did play an established. I did play an established vampire.
Yeah, actually you did.
Which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, both are good.
It reminds me, you wouldn't really have familiarity with this, but it reminds me of D&D, where some people prefer playing very low-level characters, even zero-level characters, like in Dungeon Crawl Classics. But, first, second, third level, who are like just super vulnerable, super delicate. Every challenge has to be carefully weighed. You can't just like jump into battle and expect to come out alive.
Right.
And other people prefer like a mid or higher level game where, like you said, they can hold their own, they can mow through hordes of zombies or whatever, and to them that's the fun part.
Yeah.
So so just like in D&D, it's really a matter of taste and opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your guys' favorite clans and why?
I mean, obviously, like Gangrel. I think Lasombra's my second fave.
Oh, why is that?
Because they're all weird and creepy and evil.
Right.
Let me look. I'm being like, I'm sorry, I'm not 100% today.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I do like Lasombra because, yeah, it has to do with duty and responsibility.
True.
They see themselves as God's instruments or as outcasts from His creation. The Lasombra believe they have a duty an obligation to their responsibilities. It gives them a wicked sense of purpose. I think there's a part of that appeals to me.
Yeah, you do like the duty.
Oh my god. Yeah, so I would say Lasombra, Gangrel, and I like Nosferatu, obviously. Yeah.
Why is that?
They're just actual beasts. Like, they actually look disgusting and are really gross. So I like that about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
that's not in any order. That's just kind of I like those three the most.
Yeah.
Gangrel for just sheer brute force, Lasombra for political machinations, and then Nosferatu for just grossness.
Cool.
And scariness.
I like the Tremere and I like the Salubri because I like the backstory of those two clans. And I like the Tremere because Yeah, I just they're good. They're good, kind of ambiguous. Like they're kind of evil. You know what I mean? But they're also promoting, the masquerade and order within the vampire community. But it's ultimately for their own benefit. So I like that sort of like cynical ambiguity there.
Yeah.
And I like blood magic. I just think blood magic's cool.
What makes
Sue me.
it cool? What
I don't
makes
know.
it cool?
It's blood magic, It's like using vampiric blood to do magic. I think that's pretty cool. And there's a lot of nifty rituals and stuff. It's fun. It's fun to dive into and just be, like a big menu, selecting what you want. It's neat. Makes them a bitch to run as NPCs, but that's a whole other issue. And then Salubri, they're a fun little Mary Sue clan, like the last of their kind, But I also like there's some ambiguity there too as well, like, which we played around with in 13 Candles, like how good are these people actually?
Yeah, and the fact that they have like a warrior caste and then a
that's
healer
interesting.
caste.
That's fascinating to me.
So it's like you can't separate the two.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have to shed some blood. It's interesting.
Yeah. And also I think just in a weird perverse way, somebody in one of our comments many moons ago pointed out that the original vampire with the original 7 clans mostly adhered to classic vampire tropes,
Yeah.
And that's what worked about it, and that as the clans multiplied and the bloodlines multiplied, they got further and further away from that vision, and that kind of diluted it for them. And I tend to agree with that on a theoretical level, but at the same time, I kind of like the Salubri because they represent the most extreme example of that.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like it actually appeals to my sort of contrarian nature, where it's like, these vampires have a third eye, and they're all about healing. It's just like, I don't know. Again, I have a contrarian streak, so.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, right. So, anyways. And then I guess probably the third, I'd say the Bruja.
Yeah.
Because, again, interesting backstory.
Definitely.
And sort of an example of the perils of intellectualism and philosophy, I guess.
Yeah. I would think that the three... I think that whatever 3 clans you like the most probably are a good gauge in terms of your... Am I too far from the mic?
Oh, you're good.
Are kind of a good gauge of like your personality, actually.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Yeah, I was thinking that with yours, and I guess you were thinking that with mine.
That's only because I know you.
I know you. Interesting that 2 of your clans are both masters of shadow and darkness.
And I'm so not like that. Maybe it's what I aspire to be.
It's what you wish.
I wish
you wish you commanded the shadows.
No, but I wish I was maybe less transparent, I guess. I think I'm a little too...
It's aspirational.
Yeah.
The gangrel is like what you are.
What I probably truly am.
Nosferatu and the sun. It's like that meme, what my parents think I am, what
That's
my coworkers
an old
think
meme.
I am. Yeah, no, going all the way back to 2017.
Okay. No.
Okay. What ability or discipline would you love to play with?
Like as myself or like as a character?
I think it's like, is there a discipline or other vampiric ability that you haven't gotten a chance to use in a game yet?
Yeah.
That you would enjoy using?
For me...
I'll just jump in first and just say one of the things I enjoy about the Salubri and the Tremere is that they both have Auspex, which is one of my favorite disciplines.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I play 13 Candles, that's actually like, in terms of this question, that's exactly it. I'd always wanted to do...
Uncanny sensory abilities.
I'd always wanted to do a vampire with, or a character with Auspex, and so I finally got to, and it was tons of fun. I really liked it. So it held up to my expectations. So are there any that you feel you haven't had a chance to play around with yet that you would enjoy using?
For me, I think it's probably Celerity. Because I haven't really had to do like the quickness and... just, I don't know. It's just movement, I guess, right? It's all about movement. So moving at a fast speed.
Like a True Blood vampire.
Yeah, I like that. And it's kind of funny and
Yeah.
great. And when it was used to such great effect in that show. So funny. I think I'm torn between celerity and see, just going through the book here. A lot.
Yeah, I wish they'd broken out the
They
magic
should
into
take
a
the
separate
rituals.
section.
Oh, I mean, I guess for me, I love Protean. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I have that, so I'll be able to push it as far as I can with
Yeah.
Aaron. But
Protean's
yeah,
awesome.
I think celerity is probably the one that I haven't been able to use at all.
Yeah. And you could definitely pick up some thoughts on that.
I could. So
Especially since certain people have been advocating for you to boost your decks. This would be a different way to do that. So.
I've already boosted it.
Well,
so
celerity,
those
you can
people need
boost
to
it
calm
yet.
down.
You can boost it yet more.
Well, that's great. I'm very tired.
Okay.
Okay, so what else? What other questions we got? Wait, did you answer yours? Auspex?
Well, Auspex I got a chance to use. I guess
anything
among
else?
the ones I haven't, I'd be curious to play around with Presence. You know,
Oh yeah.
especially get that up
Presence.
into some higher dots where you
Yeah.
can really do some crazy shit.
Yeah, I think presence is a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, presence and yeah.
Okay.
All right, what's
And
the
lastly,
Last question.
Malkavians, yay or nay?
Well, I guess that maybe question has been raised because we haven't really had a lot of Malkavians in our games. I had one. Well, the whole premise and conceit of 13 Candles was to have interactions with all the clans, like Wizard of Oz style.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that I made an effort to do. I did my best with that character. I don't know if it was effective, but I don't know.
Yeah, let's see. How many Malkavians have we had?
We've had, well, you can't really give a whole lot away. You might be sitting on one for, well, you played one. You played one in Giovanni
did,
Chronicle.
actually. That's
and you're,
true.
Yeah. So there's that piece.
And then Joe from 13 Candles, and then Bella from Neon Masquerade.
Bella? Oh, yeah, Bella was so good. I love Bella.
So I would say short answer, yay with an and, long answer, nay with a but. No, I mean, certainly the classic way that Malkavians get played, the way they're written up in the old clan book, Malkavian is terrible. I think it's awful. It's so stupid. And to get back to the other, or the thing I was saying earlier, it's like the original 7 clans being like close to the vampiric tropes. To me, Malkavians are the ones that were the furthest away from that.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly there's elements of sort of insanity and sort of what would you call it, prophecy, I guess, in vampiric lore, but it's like making a whole clan out of it. I don't know.
I guess you're thinking like a Renfield type.
I guess
he
so,
wasn't really
but
a
he wasn't a
vampire. He was a
vampire.
ghoul.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know who the fuck thought of these goddamn Malkavians.
Well, I'll tell you what. In the 90s, there was some kind of weird. It was very trendy to have like quote unquote crazy characters in your games. I mean, Rifts had a character class called the Crazy. You know, it was very strange. It was like this weird moment in gaming history where people thought it was cool to play a mentally unbalanced character who could like just basically be an asshole all the time. It like gave you a license to act out and be a jerk and also make light of mental illness all at the same time, you know. And there's, you know, in the sort of vampire fandom, there's the Fishmalk thing, which we've talked about. It's from Dark Ages. There's this illustration of a Malkavian who's like kissing a fish, and it's just like the weirdest illustration, and it's just people like hold that up as like the sort of nadir of, you know, Malkavians are crazy kind of, you know, thing. So they call it Fishmalk. But yeah, I that's stupid, but you know, I think we've done a pretty good job. Bella's an example of how you can do a Malkavian right. I thought you did great with Joe. You know, it's just, I think if you lean on the Malkavians as prophets, rather than
Yeah.
crazies,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the Malkavians see the world in a completely different way, and that might make them seem quote unquote crazy to other people.
Right.
But really, they're just like the weirdos of the vampire world,
Yeah,
right?
they're kind of out there. They're a little
They're out
eccentric.
there,
Like
yeah.
I would say, play
They're
them more.
transgressive.
Yeah, play them more like a Luna Lovegood, like from Harry Potter,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
play them more like an eccentric aunt or uncle or something. That like Doc Brown, like in Back to the Future. Like play them as someone like forward-seeing,
Yeah.
but so much so that they're off-putting.
Yeah,
Like
right.
you don't really want to spend a lot of time
Yeah,
with
Luna
them.
Lovegood if she hadn't been as lovable.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Like you don't really want to spend a lot of time with them, but you know they have something of value. You just have to crack the code.
Yeah.
So I think, they're gonna lash out eventually, though.
Yeah, so I mean, for example, as we go through the Gehenna meta plot to our own devices, whatever we want to do with that, I think I'll definitely be centering Malkavians a bit more as sort of prophets of the
Yeah.
apocalypse. Like it's like, oh, that's why they're here.
Right.
They're
Like,
here.
there's a purpose
They're
for
here.
that.
They're psychopomps who are going to take us
Yeah.
through to the other side,
Right.
basically.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I like that. I like the sort of God touched thing. It's very folkloric.
Yeah.
So if you lean into it that way, it can be fun, I think. But
almost more like a kind of a wacky shaman kind of way.
it can be a shamanic thing, absolutely. So
trickster character,
Trickster,
Very
transgressor.
transgressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not So, but again, use sparingly.
Yeah, use it sparingly. It would be hard to have a Malkavian, like, our Nightlife Chronicle is very Bruja heavy, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
But and you could do a Ventru heavy. You could do, or just a Camarilla heavy where you have a lot of Ventru, Tremere, Toreador running around. But it would be very hard to have a lot of Malkavians in a Chronicle and not have it descend into like self-parody or downright, offensiveness. So, yeah, I would, even though Malkavians are like one of your classic core clans, I treat them more like a bloodline.
Yeah.
Like how I might occasionally have a bloodline of some sort or another. I don't know. I'm blanking on the bloodlines, but
I don't know. Whatever.
Samedi,
Come on.
Samedi, fine.
Yeah, you know what.
You
it is.
what's his face?
That guy.
No, the guy who was the troubleshooter with Amy, who looked like a corpse. What was his name?
Mr. Frederick.
Mr. Frederick. For Fredericks. He was a Samedi bloodline,
Yeah, he
right?
was.
So, you occasionally have a bloodline sort of crop up. And I think I just
The
basically
anti-tribute.
Yes, I basically treat Malkavians the same way.
Yeah, I think that they could be used in that way. They're not like you don't want to focus too much on them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's anti-tributes of all different types of clans, so you have variations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can play around
Yeah,
with
I
that.
guess that answers our question.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, I think that is it.
Yeah.
I think that
That's
is it.
all
It's
for
been
now.
about 24 hours since I posted our tweet, so I'm cutting it off.
If people have questions, I think we'd be happy to do some.
Always happy to answer questions. We can throw in
Yeah.
Q&A sessions at the start of a regular session, or just do these little one-off salons.
It's not a salon.
And I'm still posting it as a salon.
All right then.
Anyway, that's that.